Hello, brothers. Today I would like to discuss this one vital topic for men. It's aging. Yeah, I think there's a lot of misconceptions and misunderstanding. I think when it comes to the popular phrase that has been circulating the manosphere for quite a long time now, it goes as women age like milk and men age like wine. We all kind of have heard this phrase, right? And we also sometimes, I see in the comments, some guys, they sort of rephrase it as men age like Sean Connery and women age like Sean Connery, something like that. And it's all fun, right? It's funny, and the original statement itself, the original, almost a proverb now. It sounds like calming for a lot of men, soothing, but I have to be freaking honest about it, and that's what I came here to discuss today, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding. I think this hasn't really been discussed that in such an elaborate fashion, I think. So now is the time. What this phrase really applies to fully is fertility, only fertility. So man, we have longevity when it comes to fertility. We maintain fertility up to the age of like 60, 70, 80. Okay, there's guys who, well, we have examples from among celebrities, right? Like Al Pacino, De Niro. I think they're like in the late 70s, maybe early 80s. They still, they have like their newborns now, right? I mean, they have had some newborns. And they could do it like with ladies that are like 30 something, I think. And that is possible. And for women, it's not that much possible. I think for most women, it kind of ends at the age of like 40, 45. That is true. Although there are some women who can have who can actually be fertile at the age of 50. They still conceive. There are some women, but it's a minority. So that's like a biological reality, right? But even that is not like all perfect for men, because there's also data that shows that men, the more we age, like with age, the risks of for our children to have some deformities, it only increases with age. So it's not all rainbows for us dudes too. Okay, so just for some of those lads who probably, just take this whole proverb as something, as an utmost truth, because it's really not an utmost truth. And then now, so as we are done with fertility, and I've already said that it only really applies to fertility, you will probably like counter argue that, well, you know what, we actually, our value increases because that's what we have all been hearing for the past many years from the manosphere influencers, that man's value increases with age. You have to really be specific what you mean by value. Okay, like, are you really that freaking confident that, aged up guys have a lot of sexual value? Like, are you really that confident? If that is the case, how come we don't see a lot of men dating like in their 40s, men in their 40s, in their 50s, dating like 20-year-olds? You don't really see them alone. Just be honest. We don't see them. And that kind of goes to show that maybe that's not really like the maximum that we see. I think is like guys in their 30s dating girls in their 20s. It's practically like a 10-year gap, And when you ask women, most of the time, the last time I was on a date, it was it was like 1.5 years ago, actually. And the lady, she literally told me, I was 38 at that time, and the lady, she literally told me I was at 38 at that time. So she told me, well, I mean, she was like 28, basically, and so 10-year gap. And she told me, well, I mean, it's okay, but your age is like the max. Your age is on the outer edge. So if you, so I basically kind of asked her, so if I was like 40, then you wouldn't like really consider. And she said, yeah, I wouldn't consider you. It's just 2 freaking years. I was 38, and if I was 40, like she was kind of like. But then again, women they can say all of this stuff, but maybe she's just said that, but she didn't really mean it. It's just like 2 years. But then if you just say, oh, it's just 2 years, but then it's another 2 years, and then it's another 2 years, and then it's like 6 years. So right, I mean, so where do you stop, right? I mean, we have to be freaking honest that with age, our bodily structure, functions, they deteriorate, and it's just a freaking reality. And just even if you age gracefully as a man, you can be aging like George Clooney, like Sean Connery, even how many other actors there, they can be aging really gracefully, which is, by the way, not guaranteed to anyone, because there's a lot of men who don't age gracefully. I mean, look at Russell Crowe. I mean, even like Chris Hansen, who Chris Hansen. I mean that dude. He didn't. I don't think he aged gracefully too. Just didn't really age that well, right? Even if you age well, like George Clooney, you are still getting old. You are an old. Even if you are not an old fort, but you are an old fuck. Okay. By the way, get this T-shirt, brothers, or this mug, sort of to show that, yeah, I'm aging. Brothers, you can still be aging, but you can still have a youthful mindset. It's totally fine, in my opinion. So it all comes down to, don't be an old fort, but be an old fuck, basically. Get this T-shirt and get this mug. But the truth still must be told, and the reality is that most women out there, they don't really like older guys. That's the freaking reality. Okay, I don't know how many times you have been told, oh, but actually with age you get it, like you age like wine. Brother, you have to be realistic. Most women, they are not going to be with you for you being aged up, aged up like 50, 60-year-old man. You will not find a lot of like 20, even 30-year-olds who will be willing to be with you unless you have the money. But then that is not a genuine attraction, right? And that's precisely what the manosphere influencers have been telling to you, to everyone, that you should be with a woman only if she has that raw, this natural, like bodily attraction to you, So, but then again, at the same time, they tell you that, well, with age, a man's value increases, a man's wisdom, life experience, and capital increases, right? Hopefully, because for some dudes, it actually goes down. Because I'm sorry, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of men who actually, I have 2 uncles who are complete degenerates. Okay, one of them just passed away. We have just buried him. The guy just went from prison to prison his freaking entire life. From the 90s, he was just into criminal activity, and then he never had children. He was just drinking, and then he got tuberculosis at some point. He was basically on disability. He was literally sitting on my neck for the past like 10 years, I think. Then I also have another uncle who's pretty much the same, also no children. So they degraded themselves basically into this position, and it doesn't mean that just because you age, by default you will be sort of your capital will be increasing. This other uncle of mine, he was working his ass off. He was in the construction. He was like home decor stuff, kind of like, and he still kind of ended up with pretty much no money. I'm still helping him out, I'm still sending some money to him sometimes when he really needs. So it's not just because you've aged up, you sort of grew, it doesn't really mean that you will have that capital. Something may happen to you, right? So the point is not to really be hopeful that, with age, I will be getting that sort of attraction, from a lot of females. I will be attracting them just because I become that, George Clooney type. I'll be so freaking, that wisdom, that confidence, that money, capital that I will be having. That's all of that. Can just compensate for me aging up, and then I can get like a 25, 30-year-old female. The chances are extremely slim, extremely slim. And then again, she will be with you for the money, for the status. She's not there because she's bodily attracted to you. It's extremely unlikely. It's possible but you have to look outstanding. You need to have that outstanding look. You must be so freaking not just in shape. Yeah, you must have like full hair. You must be like 6 foot something. You must be like really looking just freaking great. Okay, but the age will still take its toll, and there's just no escape. Just even like for example Tom Cruise, he always looked great, but if you look at him now, age is still kind of showing itself. There's still signs, So you're not going to have like a lot of young females basically wanting you just for you. They will not have this raw bodily attraction just because it's visible that you have aged up. Even if you did it gracefully, I'm sorry, but that's the reality. So she's just there for the money and all of that. And some guys might probably counter argue with, well, yeah, but your money that you have accumulated, your status, your life experience, confidence, and all of that, your connections, all of them, they also constitute your personality. So they are a part of your growth. So why not buy young women with all of that shiny sort of personal traits that you have accumulated, not everything that is beyond your just your physical body, right? Well, I mean, that counts, but then that all of these factors, they sure count, but again, we're talking about women where feelings are everything for them, right? So if you actually just focus on these sort of compensatory mechanisms, right? That all of this, your money and status, they add up to you and kind of they compensate for you having aged. The problem is women are extremely they are very emotional, right? They still want like some sort of so they want something romantic, right? And are you sure you will be able to actually give it to them? And I mean, like, if you want to have something serious, right? If it's a younger female, you may think it's going to be that easy, but maybe not. Maybe not. And then, well, it's because you have outgrown all of that stuff. You're not a naive young man anymore. You will be kind of more serious about everything, right? And she wants otherwise. She wants the cluelessness of youth. That's what she will want. And that is precisely the reason why they, dating those sugar daddies. That's why they call all the guys sugar daddies, because they don't really consider them as something serious, as a serious option. Even if they date an older guy, I'm sorry, it just happens so too often that they have younger men on the second freaking phone, on the second like WhatsApp account. It happens left and right. I'm sorry, that's the reality. Like, for example, recently in Russia, there's like one billionaire oligarch in his 50s, I think. He was complaining about his 20-something-year-old young wife when he found out that she was cheating on him with some younger man. Of course, well, what a freaking surprise, right? And now she's going to divorce him, and now she gets to extract some part of his wealth. See, that's the reality. When you are that old and you want to go for younger women, you can become a victim of these sorts of schemes, right? You can't trust them because, as I have already said, why would a younger female love you, and why wouldn't she not be with you just for the money? Why would she love you, like, actually, right? I mean, if she's not into your body, as I've said, your body decays. That's the reality. That reality would be soothed up a little bit. I think it wouldn't be as raw as it is now if, first of all, women were raised in a traditional way. So they would consider marriage as something really important, something sacred, right? If they had those family values, how many women do you see today that have these family values that are there for the family, not for the dating fun and all of that? That's the reality. They are not there for like family values. So that means she will always be looking sideways. She will be with you, but she will be always there for a new option. And also now, reason number two is because of the bad demographics. All of the demographics is very skewed against men, because there's just way more men on the planet Earth than women. If for those of you who didn't know, you can just ask ChatGPT or Google it. There's more men than women in the world. And some of you might counter argue, well, actually it says in the total population, there's actually more women in the total population, including the oldest age categories, like up to 100. Of course, that's because past like 30, like after the age of 30, you will have, well, maybe after the age of 35, you will have like, the graph will be sort of, pretty much straightening up the whole graph, because, well, just let's put it this way, like after the age of 35, it changes, and women actually start to outnumber men, because why? Because men are just riskier. We like a lot of risky stuff, we engage of some criminal activities, a lot of us, right? So that kind of shortens our lifespans. So, but then again, are you really interested in like dating past 40, past 50? The main dating part of your life is up to the age of 40. That's just the reality. You might be arguing, you might be getting pissed because of this, but that's just the reality. And actually considering, like comparing the numbers of men and women in the 60-year-old age bracket, does it even make sense? Like that's the age where you are supposed to be taking care of your like grandkids and all that. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't be looking at that. So there's just more men than women in the most dateable age categories. That's the reality. And when there's just so many more men, what's gonna, just any young woman, especially if she's attractive, she's going to have she will be bombarded with these options. She will just be constantly approached by younger lads, and then there's you and all the guy. Like, she will be so freaking tempted that it's almost inevitable that something bad will happen. And also adding up to this, that the mindset of modern women, that they are more there for fun and independence and sovereignty and money rather than family values, then you are pretty much screwed. So all I want to say by all of this, all of just what I've said above, is that I'm not saying that don't date, even if you're like 50, but you want to like go younger. I'm not saying that don't do it. Like, I'm not going to be saying that, but I just want you to be very freaking cautious, because there's a lot of risks, and there's just that raw reality that you have to take into account. I don't want you to be a victim of another freaking stupid scheme or something, especially at that age. So when you go for a younger female, just have a prenup, but even that might not be helpful. I mean, right? We all know that prenups don't always work. So yeah, I mean, that's the raw reality of it, right? Really, I think the main conclusion is just date women. Just go ahead and at least have like 2 girlfriends in your life at the very least. Like if you're not really the dating type, maybe you're like a very introverted man, but I don't think you should be reaching the age of 40 without having any relationships at all, like zero. Okay. because then you will be regretting just the very fact that you didn't really have anything. Because I've honestly been seeing so many like posts and comments from so many guys that on other manosphere channels, because this my channel is only growing now. It's just I've just started like recently, but I see lots of comments that where guys are like 30. I'm 35. I've never dated. Brother, don't waste your time. At least do it like once. At least, even if it's gonna be bad, it's most likely going to be bad. But at least like past the age of 40, you will be like, well, at least I had it. Yeah, there was nothing in it, but you won't really have that freaking pain of not having tried. Okay, so I think it's very important. It's probably not gonna go well for you, but at least you tried. At least you had that experience, because you will not have the time. Because when you are past 40, the likelihood that you will be dating a 20-year-old, I mean, in our modern deranged world, brother, with almost zero family values, it's almost impossible. So do everything at the time, okay? Don't postpone. Don't postpone too much. Just try, even if you're not like, I'm not a perfect dude, because that's what I was doing all my time, all my life. I'm almost 40. I'll be turning 40 next year. And that's actually was how my approach was. Well, I have to wait. I have to do this and that, and then when I'm actually standing like firmly on my both legs, then on my both feet, then I will be dating whoever I want. But actually, that's just really not how it works. You should still go for, and at least just freaking try. If you don't, then when you don't like it, at least later on you will say, well, I tried. It didn't work. I didn't like it. But at least I tried, because then the pain of regret and not having tried, it may be really bad. It's like reaching the age of, I don't know, like the age of 60 and dying while you always wanted to try some food, but you never did. It's kind of like, just you need to try that. And well, I mean, I think that's pretty much it, actually, because we do age. And don't listen to, at least if you listen to the other manosphere channels, generally anyone who tells you that it doesn't matter, your age doesn't matter, just don't consider it. Well, you have to be realistic, okay? Just you have to be cautious, you have to be realistic, and be accountable for the raw fact that age does matter. And it does matter for the age of man, also does matter to women. That's the raw reality. And actually that has been proven by, even recently, like I've been seeing so many females that are basically female teachers, pedos basically in the United States. Like every other week we get this news that another female teacher, and they almost all are married, and they're still sleeping like with these 15-year-old dudes. Because why? Because again, feminist propaganda, strong, independent. Don't sleep with those old, saggy, like grumpy grandpas. They even started calling 40-year-old something guys as like grumpy grandpas, literally. You see that on their stupid forums, right? So this desire for youth, it goes both ways. So women want that too. That's the reality. Okay, and you can't really make your way with just money. You cannot be, as the manosphere, as they like to put it, don't lead with your wallet. But at the same time, they will tell you, well, a man's age doesn't matter. I mean, like, but don't lead with your wallet. But the wallet is everything that matters, pretty much. Okay? I mean, well, again, there will probably, some of them, they will come out, they will just start counter-arguing with this idea that, well, we have these examples of like Brad Pitt, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. They are like really old, but they are dating younger women, DiCaprio, right? So if they can do it, that they are like good examples of that. This whole thing is actually possible. That a man's age doesn't matter. I'm sorry, these guys are celebrities. Do you even know what a celebrity is? Celebrities are almost like demigods. They're deified. So you can't really be comparing celebrities to just your average Joes. That wouldn't be correct. Okay? Leonardo DiCaprio's another young girlfriend, she is with him not just because he's an older guy with money, but also because she watched movies with him. She probably grew up on his movies, watching them. So she's basically a fan of DiCaprio. Being a fan, again, it's like worshiping a person. Celebrities are like demigods, as I've already said. So that's in her mind. When she sees DiCaprio, in her mind, she sees that guy who, in the Titanic. I forgot the name of the character, and it doesn't matter. She dates that guy who was romantic with Rose, the character in the Titanic. Okay, played by Kate Winslet. So that's who she sees, and it's so much deeply ingrained, stuck in her brain, in her mind, because she grew up on that. So when she looks at DiCaprio, she sees someone more than just a rich guy with status and money. Okay, that's the power of arts. In fact, arts could be way even more important than just money. Like, for example, there's this video that I watched. It's basically Jeff Bezos with his wife, and then DiCaprio is basically standing like over them, and you can see the reaction that Bezos' wife has. Right, she's immediately infatuated by DiCaprio. Right, despite the fact that DiCaprio is pretty freaking broke compared to Jeff Bezos, basically. Right, but see, again, it's not just about the money, right? It's also the character, and it's also how a woman perceives you, right? So you can't. Okay, so we have figured it out. You can't really be comparing and applying the examples of celebrities on just average normal guys. That doesn't really work. Okay, so all I'm saying from all of the above is just, guys, go ahead and date. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not going to be like, blocking anyone. So I mean, all I wanted to say actually from all of the above is just for you guys to be cautious and be realistic. Okay, if you're old, if the age gap is that much, she's there for the money, most likely. Because the likelihood that she's a family oriented, like she actually has family values, she's so traditional, akin to ladies in the 50s, like before the 50s, ladies in the 19th century. Like, the likelihood is so freaking tiny, it's nearly impossible. Okay, just be realistic about it, and if you're ready to take up the risks, well, that's gonna be on you. That's how it is. That's how life rolls, okay? So that basically means, well, you can marry a woman that's closer sort of to your age, even a single mom. Yeah, I know there's lots of bashing on the single mothers, but then I also see lots of guys marrying them. I mean, why do you think that happens? Why is it that the manosphere says one thing, and then in reality, you see that actually guys are marrying like single mothers left and right? Maybe it's because there's too many single moms. Yeah, that also plays a factor. For example, me, I'm approaching 40. For me, there's almost no options. Like, to date, there's literally no option to date for me. And I live in Central Asia, the presumably, allegedly, a traditional society, which really is not. It's just a major lie. We like to pretend we are, but we are really not. And I can't really find a date that's closer to my age, like even a 35-year-old female, because whenever I get proposed, like, oh, you know what, there's that lady, what about you try and sort of invite her for a date? And then, okay, like, and I just immediately ask, is she a single mom? Like, no, she's not, and that's good. And then immediately I respond, actually, that's not good, because that means she's a freaking feminist and she probably hates men. In my country, the population is 20 million people, and we have 1 million women at the age of 35, 40 and beyond who have never been married and have no children. 1 million, which basically means a demographic catastrophe. And then they look at me like, okay, like, why? Like, she has no kids, that's great. If she has never been married by the age of like 30, okay, maybe we can give like stretch it out to 35, like, okay, like if she's never been married up to the age of 35, what do you think is the reason? That's because she's been sleeping around, or if she hasn't been sleeping around, actually it doesn't matter. She could be just a feminist. She's by default, she's just a feminist. It just, the question is only what wave of a feminist she is, like second, third wave. That's the only question. Okay, so all I'm left with is basically single mothers with 1, 2, 3 kids, or man-hating feminists. That's pretty much, that's out there. But to date, like younger women, I mean, I can still do it, but it's the likelihood that, out of 10 women, there may be like one who would be ready, like in her early 20s. Maybe just one. That's possible. I'm not saying that's not possible. That is possible. Like I'm 6'1", maybe that plays a factor. Yeah, I do realize that I'm not like obese, morbidly sort of, and I'm a relatively confident, intellectual, I would say, very educated, sort of relatively athletic dude. I can do it, yes, but again, the demographics is just, it's all skewed against me, and if I want to get something serious out of it, it's gonna be problematic, because there will be lots of younger lads like sharks just swimming around that younger female, they want to take her away, and then of course she will be tempted because they are close to her age, and then you have like a lot of female influencers who will be telling her, don't marry men that are like 5 years older than you. Because when you're like 50, they will be 55. They won't be able to get a hard on because they will be important completely. Which is basically actually the reason why I believe why many women don't actually prefer marrying younger guys. In my country, there's like feminists. There's a feminist propaganda. We have influencers like singers, different celebrities who openly, make posts on Instagram that, don't even look at men that are older than you. Go for younger guys. I see those posts, that's the reality. Empowered, strong, and independent, that's the reality that we men have to deal with. So even if a younger female, even if you are dating her and she maybe, very unlikely, but maybe even if she genuinely likes you, she wants to be with you, she will be talked out of it at some point because of the propaganda that women, it's greater, younger lads are just greater, they just good, they fresher. The female pedo insurgents in the United States, there's like, look at this shit. Brothers, every week we see this female pedo teachers in the United States, and most of them are married, and they're sleeping with 15-year-old guys. And then they even have the nerve to say, well, what can I do? I'm attracted to fresh cocks. Like, brother, that's the reality. Okay, just freaking accept it and accept the risks. I'm not saying don't date, just accept the risks and be freaking mindful of it. Okay, brothers, I think that's about it. This has been like probably the longest of all of my videos, and yeah. But it's kind of painful because I'm aging. I feel it. I feel it in my freaking knees and in my herniated freaking disc. That's, I don't know. That's just, yeah. Anyway, guys, subscribe to this channel. There will be a lot more videos coming out on all different sort of topics, different aspects of the manosphere generally, men's issues in general, or maybe also some like funny videos too, because I like humor. For those of you who don't know, I actually write comedy. I have like screenplays, but no one's buying them because, again, well, because you need like really deep connection. You need to be related to some producers, and in my country, we only have like a handful of producers, okay, and getting into something bigger in the West is nearly impossible. So anyways, subscribe to this channel. and like this video, because just the algorithm needs your likes so that this video would reach more views and my channel would grow. And also visit my shop. Actually, I'm developing, well, we are developing, I'm not alone, but I do all of the designs myself. I get some help sometimes in the other aspects, but I generally do all of the designs conceptually, and I like draw many of them. Sometimes I use AI. Well, actually, a lot of times I use AI now because I don't have the time. But generally speaking, sometimes I use Canva. It doesn't really matter, but I work really diligently on all of the designs. And yeah, just if you want to support this channel, go get something for yourself and do good for this channel and also for yourself. Most of the designs are politics neutral, and I have nothing that is regarded as toxic. Well, I mean, to a feminist, anything can be toxic. Anything that is sort of pro-man, right? Anything. Literally. If you like being a man, oh, that's it. That means you hate women. That's it. You know, just a big freaking red cross on you. But I think that we should go beyond that. We shouldn't be like shying away from stating our position, even wearing the t-shirts. Some of the t-shirts, I think that actually, like, I have like the dating pack collection. On that collection, I aim to make this a collection of like t-shirts that guys, like, you can wear them even on dates, and you can test girls. You can actually test her attitude just by looking at her reaction. If she reacts like with hostility, brother, that's a feminist. She hates you. She hates men. Okay? Leave. Don't waste your time on her. If she kind of looks at the t-shirt and she doesn't, have that hostile reaction, then you can do something further. That you got yourself a woman with strong perspectives. Yeah, that's so. My shop. That means my shop is really freaking functional. It's very helpful, I believe, and I hope to get the amount of my designs to 200, and also collaborate even more with the other influencers, and then grow like a huge freaking brand out of it, hopefully, with your help, by the way. Yeah, so subscribe, visit my shop, like this video, and I see you in the next videos.